Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am Mr. Chris and today I'm gonna do a review based on my first impression of playing Biomutant. Biomutant is a game literally went from nay to yay for me because this game totally does not draw my attention initially. However, when I dig more and more info about the game, I was actually changed my mind and being so excited to play with it and even pre-order it digitally just to get the extra class, which is the mercenary class. Biomutant is a massive open world post-apocalyptic kung fu action RPG with a unique martial arts combat system that allows you to have a maximum freedom of movement and agility while mixing up the shooting, melee, and mutant power at the same time. Not only that, its unique customization on the characters and weapon crafting are also the reason drawing me to buy this game. I personally love an open world game so much because it's able to offer a full adventure experience by exploring the massive map, looting up treasures, killing mobs along the way, and of course, enjoying the freedom of exploring anywhere I like. But most of the open world games such as Assassin's Creed, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Immortal Phoenix Rising, or even Witcher somehow doesn't give me the satisfaction in terms of combat system. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying those games is bad, it's just that sometimes I'm just kind of frustrated with the slower movement when it comes to combat in those games. Maybe because I don't really have the patience in the slower paced combat style, because I pretty much more enjoy when I play Spider-Man, which is actually more fast-paced action. And Biomutant actually did it. And this is why I was immediately sold when I see this kind of fast-paced kung fu style combat system, plus with all the slow-mo stylish action. Man, take my money. And another reason pushes me to buy the game is the unique customization on the characters and weapons, as I was mentioned earlier. And speaking of customization, it is not the most in-depth customization of all time, but the game did actually make a unique way to customize it. At the beginning of the game, you will have to create your very own unique character by choosing among the 5 different breeds, and each of them will have their own advantage and disadvantage in terms of stat. And then you can further adjust your stat the way you want it, and this is the most interesting part because while you're distributing the stat, your character physical appearances will actually changes accordingly. For example, if you move your cursor towards more vitality and strength, it will actually look more buff. And if you move towards the agility, it will become more skinny. And the funniest part is when you move your cursor to intelligent, you're gonna get a really big head characters. However, you don't really need to worry because you will actually able to change the physical appearances later in the game without affecting your stats. So be sure to choose your stat wisely in the early game according to your playstyle. And for me, I wanted a speedy dual wielding sword guy, so I'm going more on agility and strength. Further on, you will get to choose your own fur color, and lastly, of course, you have to choose among the 5 different classes. But if you pre-order the game, you will entitled to have the 6th class, which is the mercenary class, and each class will have different combat style, and it is somehow related to the breed and stat distribution earlier, so be sure to choose a class that fits your stats, because it will pretty much help you in the early game. Another interesting customization would be on the weapon, because no matter what class you choose, you will always able to access both melee and range shooting weapons. In Biomutant, it have million ways to craft your weapon and armor, because every single weapons or armor is able to customize using different item parts. You can always dismantle and combine using different item parts that you loot from the open world, creating your very own unique weapon. Not only that, every time when you found or crafted a new weapon, you will unlock a new Wungfu for the weapons. What is Wungfu? Wungfu is the combination of martial arts and weapon performing by inputting the specific sequence of control. For example, in the dual wield melee, you will be able to perform a flurry of dual slashing by inputting the sequence of square, square, triangle on your controller to perform this special attack. And this special attack is called Unstoppable Pay. What a catchy name. And of course, to unlock more and more special attack, you will need to spend your upgrade points that you gain by level up and progressing the story. And aside from the range or melee weapon, you will also granted with 4 mutant ability slots, allowing you to perform some amazing ability during the combat. There are 2 types of mutant abilities for you to unlock. One is the biogenetics and another one is called psi power. To unlock the biogenetics ability, you will have to collect biopoint by killing the mobs in the biopoint area, or you can loot from biopoints treasure that you found in the wild. And as for unlocking the psi power ability, you will have to gain points from making choices in dialogue or interacting with shrines. Not only that, certain power will require a specific aura score in order to unlock it, meaning it will actually depending on your morality decision that you make during the story while talking to NPC to gain more dark or light aura. Think it as your little inner angel or devil on your shoulder. For example, if you wanted to unlock levitate, you will need to accumulate 20 light aura. And if you want to unlock telekinesis, you will have to collect 20 dark aura. Next, let's talk about the open world exploration. In Biomutant, you will find yourself wandering at this post-apocalyptic world that all humans are already long gone, living behind empty cities and some highly corrupted radioactive areas, and that is why in the beginning of the game you will have to choose your biohazard resistance. With this corrupted area, it makes the open world a much more challenging place to explore. But of course, later in the game you will be able to mount on certain vehicles, riding inside of MagTag robot, or even glide around the place to avoid all these corrupted areas. And while you're exploring the abandoned cities, you will actually find yourself a lot of amazing loot that will give you some high rarity items or armor that could be greatly helpful for you to progress the game. And some items might require you to solve some simple puzzle before you can get your hands on it. So whenever you reach a new place, be sure to check out the entire area before you move to the next area. And as for the story of the gameplay, you will be playing as a raccoon-like protagonist where its mama and papa was killed years ago by the big evil Lupa Lupin. Mama was the leader of the Kung Fu tribe, and when Mama is dead, her disciples split it into 6 different tribes and start warring each other. In the early game, you have to choose to join either the good force, which is the Myriad tribe, who is hoping to reunite all 6 tribes into one and restore the balance. Or you can join the bad guy, which is Jackney, who's trying to rule the world himself. But anyway, story isn't really the selling point of the game, because we will be mainly focusing on crafting more and more interesting new weapon and unlocking different type of mutant ability or Wungfu ability by exploring the massive open world while progressing the story. The drawbacks. Despite on having fun in the open world exploration along with the unique Kung Fu combat experience, however, it does have some drawbacks of the game that I would like to talk about. First of all, I'm playing this in PS5, and I believe you probably already knew that Biomutant does not have 4K support in PS5, but it does indeed able to have a upscale 4K, which you can actually tune the HUD scale to the maximum of 125 in the settings. And the next thing I noticed is the frame drop during character customization, which actually shocks me for such an early frame drop in the game. But luckily, later in the game, I did not notice any frame drop issue after being playing around 10 hours of the game. And as for the combat style, it was fun and amazing at the beginning, but you will slowly realize that sometimes it's kind of annoying, especially with the slow motion effects at the end of every combat. It kind of gave me a little bit of laggy feel in that way. Maybe they can shorten the slow motion effect time. And also, melee weapon in this game is kind of put you in a disadvantage stage, especially when you're surrounded by a group of people, because the sequence of performing the special attacks is becoming really hard to achieve sometimes. Playing as a ranged shooter would definitely make everything much easier, especially in the early game if you choose Deadeye class, because it has the perks called instant reload, where you will actually having a infinite bullets to shoot non-stop. Weapon crafting is fun, but somehow in the early game it's quite hard to collect all the materials that you need in order to perform the crafting, so you actually have to carefully plan on what are you actually making. And as for the narrator, it was fun to listen at first, but when you run out of patience, you're probably gonna turn it off in the settings. But in overall, I'm still having fun with the game because of its unique Kung Fu style combat system. Is really well done. I'm pretty much enjoying this fast-paced action combat, slashing, shooting, dodging, and performing all those cool mutant ability. It's really satisfying. So basically these are my first impression and review based on the first 10 hours of gameplay that I have done. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this video, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.